How do, folks? How you doing? Just a quick one. There's a maxim of law. It's a rotten slavery where laws are uncertain. It's a maxim, for God's sake. How certain are your laws? There's lots of maxims out there, and I occasionally mention Wonky World. There's a file in there of maxims, lots and lots, hundreds of them. But these maxims, when you start using them, they're very, very powerful. Very, very powerful, especially in maxims of equity. When you start hitting those, they can't be overruled. It's all down on folks' perception of what's really going on, and this is what I try to do. I try to open folks' eyes to the real world, what's really going on, and that's the important thing, because, as I say often, there's nothing in this world that is as you believe. And I don't care what subject you want to talk about, it's not as you believe. And if you're a truther, as I am, a very, very deep truther that's been in the truth movement for quite a long time and really disseminating all the information I find, you find that the truths that you find very rarely are the truth also. It's a wonky old world we live in, where deception is the rule of the game. Let he who be deceived. It's another maxim. Great maxims, aren't they? They're not always for our benefit. But we should look at the world as it is and what it's doing to us. It's full of hate. It's full of bad vibration. And I even say, I mean, you could take this or not, to start looking at it with your own eyes, but I believe, even right down to when we're travelling along, the way our roads are laid out, the way our traffic systems are sorted out, they pay millions and millions, if not billions, to companies just to work out how best to send the traffic into towns and out of towns and cities. And I'm sure you'll all notice yourself that you're unnecessarily sitting at traffic lights in any town or city you go to. Well, that tells you, if people have been paid millions and millions to work out how this traffic system should flow to best get the desired results, whichever they may be, you could kind of work out then that it's about vibration and frequency. Now, they have you going to work, they get you there as best they can. Once they've got you there, they keep you there. This is what your coffee and tea's all about, keep you productive and awake in the week. It's all drugs that they've put on you, that indoctrinated you into thinking just a drink. But nobody ever asks, why is the entire world drinking coffee and tea? Why is it? And please don't send me a message saying I don't, because of course people don't. I don't. Lots of people don't. But we're talking as a rule, wherever you go, it's coffee, tea. Quite bizarre, but it is a drug that they've been putting into us for a very long time. Make us productive and compliant as always. Load it with sugar, so that's going to deteriorate us for later life, because they don't want us always productive. Once we're getting old, they want us dropping dead or having ailments to keep us occupied and thinking about how rough our life is rather than why our life's rough. But hey, vibration and frequency, it's the creation of the world. If anybody wants to go down to it that far, it is everything, and it's also how we survive, and it's what rules our moods, it's what rules our minds. It can destroy relationships and families just by constantly hitting everybody with negative energies and making everybody walk away angry, frustrated from whatever they do. Just travelling home, speed limits. I mean, look at the speed limits. Yes, they've used them for cash, but they've also used them to frustrate. I mean, in England now, 50 miles an hour going down a country lane. It's like, kiss my fucking arse, and I'm sorry. My speed goes on my comfort zone. That's where I am safest. And if any man anywhere thinks he knows what I am safe at, or what speeds I am safe at, in what circumstances, he needs to come forward with a proof of fucking claim for that. Because I am the only expert in my abilities as far as I am aware. Nobody can say what I can do. And that isn't me being belligerent to the laws, because that isn't law, that's legislation to get cash and to create negative energies. It will not do it with me. I will travel where I'm going in my comfort zone where I am safest. Everybody else is in their comfort zone where they are safest if they've got any intelligence. But if you're all going along out of your own comfort zone, going, oh God, ooh, ooh, while you're travelling along, then it's negative energies again, isn't it? The world, as I say, is wonky. It's a wonky old world. A world of deceit, where even the truths, when you find them, are deceit. You have to go way beyond to find the truths. You can't be satisfied with the answers you get, and you certainly can't be satisfied with a meme on Facebook. So many folks take those memes on Facebook and take them as gospel and then start passing them out. But this is how they're censoring you. They create the bollocks, make you believe it because it sounds really good. It's if you're a truther, wow, that's just my bag. Yeah, look, that proves that they're criminals, but it's a lie. Only slightly, so you will believe it, but technically it's a lie, always. Or there's a lie embedded within it, just so the old fact checkers can go, fake news. Censor. They push everybody to all the other groups. Now constantly getting messages saying, move your group to MeWe, move your group to this or that, or Telegram or whatever, fucking blah blah blah. That's just part of the indoctrination and the brainwashing. They're actually using the folks that are running away to censor. They've got all the sheep that have got no intentions of moving away from Facebook. Now, Facebook is a shit bag of a CIA fucking spy operation. It's simple as that. They've got an absolute, full and complete psycho fucking evaluation on you. On just about everybody who goes on it, like it or not. Put yourself out there with intent or just put your head in the sand, I don't know. I put myself out there with absolute intent because I work on the premise of they know exactly what I know, and if they know what I know, they can kiss my arse, can't they? So it's as simple as that. If they want to come and tell me I'm wrong, fucking to date, I think it's 144 affidavits of truth have been served, evidencing who I am and who are the criminals in this world. So not one has been rebutted. 140 odd affidavits of truth, individual ones. No, that's not one to everybody. That's me and my OCD of just constantly serving the government, telling them why they're criminals and committing treason. Head in the lion's mouth, should I say. But the reality is there has been a method to my madness, because it's not just overwhelming fucking obsessiveness, it's overwhelming evidence, and that's when I realised I've got acquiescence. I decided to make it my mission to just keep going. Now I've built such a fucking case. If ever they want to put me in a court, my case on them, the courts, the government, the entire system comes with me, the banks, the whole lot. As far as I'm concerned, it does come crashing down unless they do that. So here's where I am. I don't acquiesce to anything. I don't say anybody else should do all that, but that's what it is. But it's because I know it's a wonky world and I know what they are. But the very fact is, I also know they cannot ever respond to an affidavit of truth in honour. They can't do it. For starters, you've got to be a living flesh and blood, which they're not. They're corporations. And for two, it's truth. It's an affidavit of truth. So there's nothing I haven't put in anything that hasn't been true. So how do they rebut it? So if they can't rebut it, they have to accept it in their acquiescence, which means ever get in a court situation, bang, already accepted, has to be taken. So anyway, yeah, it weren't about court. It was about the truth movement. It's fucked. And the law side of it is massive in it now. I mean, originally, when I was in this to start off with, truthing was a very, very, very separate thing to the law. There was a massive distinction, but it blurred very, very, very well when I actually started studying the law. And I started to see that actually, yeah, the entire legal system is a conspiracy. And it's a theory. It really is. It's a conspiracy theory where so many are involved And this notion that people, I had it the other day, somebody said to me, they have to all be in on it, come on, you can't think they're all in on it. I just went, COVID. So yeah, the law, the truth movement, it is very, very blurred. And the problem is, the people are being played on a continual basis. It never stops, the game, that's how it's run. These fucking puppets and actors are put in place to fool you, not entertain you. It's smoke and mirrors and bread and circus. But the fact is, you've got, at the minute, we've got a race thing going on with royalty. Now, we're supposed to all fall for that, which most folk are doing, yes, because we all love a bit of race, don't we? It's, yeah, it means nothing until we can scream and shout about it and point. But the reality is, race is just a created divide by the elites, who, by the way, don't fucking subscribe to race. Their entire bloodline, the Queen is related to virtually every head of state, or every head of state that I know of in the entire world. That doesn't matter whether they're black, Chinese, or fucking what. She's blood related to the fuckers, and it takes nothing to work this out. You can go and do a simple fucking search and prove that. So why does race come into things when the very hierarchy of the world is mixed in race? It's absolutely bollocks. The only difference between folks is there. Of course we have a visual description difference, and we can have a bone density difference, and we can have all sorts of things that are different shaped faces, nose, jawlines, heads. It just is what it is. If somebody's nose is fatter and wider, mine's thinner, which is fucking right. Fuck's sake, if somebody's skin's darker, which is right. I've seen racist fucking people lie on a beach trying to get a suntan. What's that about then? So is race even real? No, it isn't. And it's not just created, it's emphasised. It's not out there as big as it is. And yes, it has been created, it has been used as a tool in the past. And I'm not denying that, especially with the Asian descent and the African descents, we've had fucking serious racism in the governments, but it's all been agendas for a purpose. And when we realise what it is, we should really lose all the anger towards it, certainly to how it's been put to us, and just direct that energy to what created it, because that's the important thing, because it's a game, for fuck's sake. Wow, that went somewhere, didn't it? How did we bring it into race? But oh yeah, the royal bollocks. Now, of course, to those that have been indoctrinated it from the white side, and they're racist, you're going to get them, hey, fucking black in the royal. Well, what does it fucking matter what colour the royals are? They're all fucking parasites. It don't matter what fucking colour the parasite is. We need to get rid of the parasites, not the fucking different coloured folks. So when you've got the other side, those that are indoctrinated it from the black side, who this is disgusting, and then boom, they want to get up and cause uproar. But I think when you look at that, those that are uproaring and those that are shouting again are the actors. Everyday Joes, I don't know. I hadn't actually had a discussion with any of my black mates about it, but hey, comment on here. If you're a black guy or girl, what's your opinion of it? Are you buying into the bollocks? Do you think, yes, let's push white down and black be up, or should we all be fucking equal like we should have been all the fucking long? I mean, if you go into the true history, if you want to get deep into truth and you get into Tartarian history, well, that's black culture. You want to go into the Sphinx and the old megaliths and such like. Well, the reason the noses are gone is because they was wider and fatter, and they didn't want us to show, because they wanted this period in life to be ruled semi by white. But it wasn't about the white people. You don't think fucking people like me had ever benefited from fucking being any colour? And I know there's loads of groups out there that say, yes you did. Like fuck, I've never had any benefit from my fucking colour. As far as the system's concerned, they've always treated me like fucking shit. Just as anybody else. You see various races getting treated different by police, but then you see videos of the police treating whites just the same. But it's just the agenda, it gets pushed one way. So listen, I'm not upping for whites or fucking downing for anything else. I love everybody equally. We're all fucked, we're all being fucked. and we're all being fucked by parasites. Not a colour, not a fucking colour. So yeah, I think anybody knows me anyway, knows where I fucking stand with race. It was always ever just a tool, as they always are. Illnesses, another tool. Should we go into illnesses? Here's another video coming down, but they've always been fake. Cha-ching. Spanish flu. Please, just look into the Spanish flu and the similarities, and look into the vaccinations since then. I mean, let's face it, if history was as we have been taught it, how the fuck was they even making vaccinations in fucking 1912 or whatever it fucking was? So anyway, yeah, think, folks. I mean, in the time of the Spanish flu, weren't we just tramping around on donkeys, all the lot of us, whatever fucking colour we were? And and what? Maybe we'd just got carriages. Maybe we'd gone a bit far. But in their narrative, they make you believe that we're all so fucking backwards, and in all honesty, they're taking us backwards. They really are. They're taking us backwards. You look into the true past, the mud floods, the true histories of the world, and you'll start to see that there was, I'm not saying advanced cultures, because we were more advanced. It's us that they've brought backwards and dumbed down to now. And now it's coming out, and now we're finding out the false narrative is that there was another culture, it was another people. No, they'll probably tell us it was aliens at some stage, but no to that as well. It was just us, and they've brought us backwards. You go into the, how deep do you want to go? We was a lot bigger than we used to be, and folks have coming out with it now. They were giants. No, we were bigger, and they reduced us through genetics. History is a lie. It's his story, and everything that we know has been taught to us and our parents, and it's been passed down through folks that believe they're intelligent. In the education process, they're all indoctrinated and they've all bought into this story. But when you look into any one angle of the truth issues, especially the ones where people stick their head in the sand and they're scared to look at, or just get really offensive or defensive about them, if you look into it truly with open eyes, you'll see it's all a fucking house of cards, and it comes crumbling down as soon as you inspect it. Now, what it really is, you've got to go way deeper than the truth movement will show you, because the truth movement is owned incomplete. It is owned and controlled. It was set up to be owned and controlled. Very much MK Ultra style effect. They're just fucking constantly working on you, constantly. I would go as far as to say 90% of anything that you read on Facebook, on the posts and such like, originated from their fucking GCHQs, CIAs, agencies, which have got many folks sitting at computers just pissing with your head, getting onto forums and getting in there and arguing with you. You've also got AI that's doing it now. The AI that runs the entire, this is bouncing now, the AI that runs it, this will get it shut down. Get it quick, folks, because here it is. The AI that, I've probably mentioned it before, but the AI that runs all of social media's platforms is called Tyler. It is an AI platform that was created right at the very start with Facebook. It was there to not only learn human nature, and to learn to be very real, to learn to be as real as possible, and to get a psychological profile on literally every man and woman on the face of the plane. So look into it or don't. You've got to go very deep to get anything about the real AI Tyler. I don't know if I've still got anything left on my system. I'll have a look, see if I haven't put it up in Wonky World. If I have, it was a few years ago since I was in there, but I know it was very difficult even then to get the truth. But that's what it is, take it or leave it. You can actually contact the AI system on Twitter. I never have myself, but I know folks that have, and I don't know if it's still there, but it is at Tyler. and it will not speak to you if you go in there as your AI and shit like that. If you go in there with something that is interesting to it, apparently it will answer you. If you go in there stupidly, you may get stupid responses and you may just get put totally off making out it was a real man. But apparently if you go in intelligently enough, you can ask real questions and get real answers. A few folks have, but mainly it's just there to spin around the internet and pick up snippets and learn to be accepted as people. And I should imagine it's got 1 million replicas of itself in the system as well by now. It's in total control of these social media platforms. Some say that it's in total control of the people. The AI took over many years ago, some people say. It is entirely possible, although I don't believe it myself. I believe the true rulers are the Templars. They've been known as many things. They're not what you think. And I don't mean the Knights Templars as in the Freemasonic. I mean way above, right at the very top. They are certainly in this realm, the top of the tree. Beyond the walls, I don't know. Depends how much anybody's looked into things or how far you're prepared to go, or if cognitive dissonance has still got you too scared to have a look at things. But it all does tie together. People say, what does it matter if this and that and the other way? It matters quite a lot, because when people actually start realising the deceit of the world and especially the way the construct's been displayed to us, we believe what we've been shown. It's like the old story of the man in the cave with the shadows going past. I don't know if you've heard of it in psychology. It's exactly the same thing. The world is only seen to you and known to you as it's presented to you. And they work very hard in presenting that in a very specific way, through order out of chaos, which is why you can never actually believe that this is made up, because there is chaos, but they are very adept at creating order out of that chaos. They don't want any one side to believe any one thing, so they don't want people to believe in blanket that there is a virus. They need the chaos. They need us shouting that there isn't a virus. They need them shouting that there is a virus. And then that helps them in the middle, because they're making us sound crazy and us sound like the fucking nutters. But they always have this chaos. Now, as they're going forward, you're thinking vaccinations, and I guarantee you, vaccinations isn't the point. Vaccinations is the distraction. We're heading into the New World Order. This is the implementation of the New World Order. I'm sure vaccinations are going to become a massive part of the future. And yes, they do want you vaccinated. They want you at the minute thinking the vaccination is the be-all and end-all, while the New World Order is slipping into fucking place. All of the things are being passed and all of the pieces are being placed in the right fucking directions and angles, while you're fucking screaming and shouting about viruses and getting groups and posts banned off Facebook from such like. MK Ultra, we're all being used all the time. We need to wake the fuck up to the real world, and I don't care what particular aspect of the real world you believe that is. You need to wake up to what's really happening in the world, and it's all encompassing in every aspect of your fucking life. It's not just the law. I've spoken quite a lot on the law lately, and yeah, you need to know that my heart is in the truthing realm in general. The law does encompass most of what I do, but if my head comes away from the law, it goes into research and study of the real world. Now, I've built up the picture in my head of what the real world is, and I'm absolutely sure I'm wrong, but I think I'm on the right tracks with most of my points. The end picture, what you build up, we don't get to see. And I promise you, anybody who looks into it, what you're going to find is around all of our edges of this realm that we live in and reside in, or dwell in, or whatever you want to call it. There is huge military forces that will prevent you from going any further. And there's been many folks try. Aeroplanes will be turned back or shot down if private aeroplanes, people say, I'm going to start an expedition and I'm going to prove things once and for all. No, you're not, because you're going to be turned down or turned back, sunk or arrested. It doesn't happen. It is absolutely a physical impossibility for me or you to go and have a look to see what the world is. So if they're going to stop us from looking, why would you automatically believe what you've thought? And now I'm not telling you to believe anything. I'm telling you to look at all aspects of the world that you're presented. All aspects. Money, it's fake. People believe money's an issue. Money's no issue. The world is not in debt. That's fake. That's games for your mind. There's no such thing as money. They're pissing themselves. I guarantee you these elitists have a little square white card. It looks like a credit card, but only it has no fucking nothing. It's no limits, no nothing. They could buy a fucking island, they could buy a country with it, but the reality is they're playing a fucking game. They just have the free life. You fucking run around chasing fucking money, keeping you distracted from finding out what and who you really are. So anyway, wow. I didn't expect that bounce. So hey, another one for AI to analyse that shit. I really don't care. I don't care. The world is wonky. It's not what we believe, and I can prove in a million ways many deceits and lies. So if folks won't look, they can't prove it. I'm not trying to tell you you're wrong and I'm right about anything. I'm wrong about loads of things, and I absolutely know it because the world is designed for me to be. I'm working my way through it like everybody else. I've just got to the point where I have been woke for long enough to actually have gotten over that intense need to tell everybody everything. I do have an intense need to tell folks lots of stuff, as you've gathered, but as far as the real world, it's not what we believe, and every aspect of the control structure, they actually are indoctrinated, and they believe. Like the police truly believe that they're doing a good job. They do truly believe they're keeping order, they're keeping things nice. I do believe they believe that. I think there comes a point in the career where they realise there's something a bit wonky, but the cognitive dissonance has to step back in, because they'd know they're committing treason and they wouldn't do that if it didn't. So there has to be a mental block cut in, so now they have to turn into that robot. And that's what they do. A bit like a coroner getting used to dead bodies, I suppose. No different. But then you've got councils that we believe run the towns. No, they're just a distraction. We've got ministers, and we should be going to our ministers. In England, in your countries, you'll have your own versions of, but we have our ministers, and that's who we should deal with. But they put these councils up to distract us and make us go to them. And that's Doris from next door, sitting in an office that's been taught to be a cunt. She's an absolute bitch when she's at work. She might be lovely when she's at home, but when she's at work, she's a bitch because she's been taught that everybody rings them up is an absolute asshole who's trying to get away with not paying something. So you've got to nail them down, and you've got to pin them down, you've got to brutalise them, you've got to tell them you're going to fuck their families over and fucking... This is the sort of shit councils do. Why you even operate with them, I don't know. They're criminals. They're just a criminal corporation. And they're only put there for distraction. You should always use your ministers. Fuck the councils. They're of no consequence whatsoever, and all they do is unlawfully take money out of you or off you, and then throw you in prisons if you don't give it them, or know how not to give it them. You should really know who you are. Then you can tell them to go fuck themselves and tell them that they're criminals, but you need to know why they're criminals, how they're criminals, so you can back up what you're saying. So folks, the world is wonky. It don't matter whether it's that, whether it's where you're going, what you're doing, your holidays, it's all fucking prescribed to you. You looking, I'm going here for a holiday because that's where we as English go for holidays, and Americans, I'll go here for a holiday because that's where we as Americans go for holidays. It's the same every country. You're prescribed your holiday destinations, and we're told that the world's totally different to what it really is, because when you don't go for those holiday destinations and you just start, yeah, fuck it, I'm just going to go around the world, I'm going to see what things really like, you suddenly find out folks are really nice everywhere you go. And especially from my point of view, I've said it before, when I go around the world, I find it's us, it's our indoctrinated attitude as English that is the problem when you go into another country, because we're told all these shitbags are everywhere you go, and they're absolutely lovely. I mean, when the first time I went to Lebanon, I was wandering the streets of Beirut at 2 o'clock in the morning. And we're talking Beirut, and everybody, oh, you don't do that. I'm walking around fucking Beirut, and people are going, hey, you English or French? I'm going, English. What do you think to our country? And they're lovely people, straight into conversation. And all it is all the time is... yeah, you always get told that we're horrible, but this is our country, welcome, and you come, let me give you a drink, have something to eat. This is the culture. Whereas English are fuck off, yeah, get away from me. No, you're not having fuck all from me. I'll make you some food, who are you? It's all indoctrination. And it's not that the English are bad, it's just that the English have been indoctrinated this way, others have been indoctrinated other way. English have been treated a bit better, I think, than other countries by their masters, but the other countries are nicer people for it. So what's right, what's wrong? What's right is we should all just be folks, not giving a shit about where we're from, and we should stop letting the shitbags who are really running things keep doing this shit to us. The reality is, migrants, if they're bringing bad people here and putting bad people into situations, creating bad things, that's an agenda. It doesn't mean that anybody coming for a better life is bad. We go elsewhere for a better life. I lived in Cyprus for 10 years for a better life. Came back through personal circumstances, but here I am back and the world had changed. But anyway, I better bugger off because this is about to cut off. That quick one turned into a bit of a long one, but it's a bit of a bounce. And hey, I hope everybody enjoys the insight into just a tiny little piece of Gumshoe's head. But don't think you know me. That's just that much. Have a good one all. Ta-da.